Hi and welcome to my tutorial for how I make rust effect on miniatures painting. In the end it should look something like this. And for this tutorial I will use Vallejo model wash, rust, Lavis oxide. It's prepared here, and baking soda, which is prepared here on my palette, and some ryza rust from a Citadel. There are multiple ways how to prepare the rust effects. There's no right or wrong way. Basically it's just using browns and oranges and washes. I'm using baking soda for texture. I will use this miniature of Boss from Shadespire, and let's begin. So before applying the rust, I will take some of the Vallejo wash on my brush, and I will put it on places where I expect that water would collect, or there's uneven surface, hard to clean, so I don't expect orcs to be really tidy. So where I expect rust to create itself, to build itself. Yeah, I wouldn't put it on the edge of the axe because it would be used for chopping, and because of getting into contact with armor and stuff, the rust would go away. This is how I imagine it. I'm putting the rust wash on the base because I like to work wet on wet. And now I take on my wet brush some of the baking soda, and I will put it on that surface, and I will repeat that step. I will put a tip of my brush to the wash to make it wet, then to the soda, which is here on the tip, and then build it on the edge. Then I'm pulling it, so I need wet tip again. I will make it like really watery, muddy. When it dries, the texture will be created. The texture should be uneven, not like the whole surface should be covered, just some spaces. It should look random, built randomly. So I'm taking some excesses away. It doesn't matter that it gets a little bit dirty with wash. We are not going for nice clean effect, but the opposite. I'm adding a little bit of wash again to that, and then building the texture on different parts of the edge. Taking away excesses. This should be okay. So we see there are different metallic parts. I'm willing to put rust there as well, so once again making the metallic surface wet. I'm doing this only on steel because it corrodes that way. I'm not putting it on brass or gold or silver, only on steel, metallic, iron parts. I'm building it dip in, removing, moving the texture. The baking soda which with drying will create texture. There are different ways you can use the texture paint as well for this. So I'm moving to those parts of the armor that are metallic as well. I'm putting rust on the lower part of the metallic parts mostly, because this is how I imagine that water would collect somewhere down from the top. It would go down, and there it would create those rusty stuff. I know you shouldn't overdo this effect, because you can imagine that orcs wouldn't be able to move in such rusty armor. It would make different strange noises when they would move on the battlefield and so on. But I decided for this look, and I decided to overdo it a bit. For me it's thematic. I can imagine them like this, dirty, running, killing machines that are killing everything in their way. They do not care about their armor, or they care about this chaos they cause on the battlefield. So they just throw it away when they put it down, or they die in it. It doesn't matter, they just want to fight. They don't care that armor isn't so strong and the weapons could go through it. They just use it as a tool. They don't care how it looks. So once again, here are different parts of the armor meeting together, and on the edges I will build the rust, because there I expect water to collect. And I will go on the lower parts of armor, on the chainmails, and even the yellow armor, because I imagine that during the fights it gets scratched, and when the protecting layer of color is not intact, the metal is exposed, and it starts to create rust. So I'm putting this texture, combining with the wash. I'm putting it on the chainmails as said. When I see that there's too much water, I will dry my brush and just dip it there, and it takes the excess wash from there. And then once again I put the wash there, and now I will put some baking soda. So I will show you finished model and talk a bit about the effects. As I said, with my rust I'm focusing on lower parts of each piece of the armor. Like here it goes down, it meets the lower part of belly protective armor. So I added rust here. I added it here on this metallic part, and on the weapons I put it in really thick. Here on the armor as well, it's rust and dirt. This is how I imagine it. They are like dirty, angry guys. I scratched the yellow armor on the edges to simulate wear and tear, and to define the parts better. Once the color dries, the texture will start to come out, the wash will dry, and then to define it a little bit better, I would use ryza rust from Citadel, because more color the better, so you can combine it with as said, with brown, with those rust washes. You can mix your browns with water if you don't have wash to do this effect, and then I will just dip it randomly. I don't want it to look like being there on the purpose, just random taps of orange to break it down, to give there another layer of color and a little bit of interest, to make it pop, to shine a bit, to look really rusty. And you shouldn't be afraid if you will add too much of this orange. Then you can use wash once again and put it there and repeat the steps for building the rust effects as you like. So this is how I make rust on my orcs. And in the end it looks something like this. Thank you for watching and see you next time. I hope you liked it.